Good morning, everyone. So
Good
let's
morning.
get started. Yeah, let's get started. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. I hope you guys are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let us quickly discuss about like what we have learned on 4th March. Like yesterday was there is no class, and Saturday we had the class. Let us quickly discuss. So on Saturday we discussed about what is a synchronization, what is an object lock, what is the need for synchronization, and how can we do the synchronization. Can someone quickly tell me what is a synchronization? What is a synchronization?
So when one thread is entered into a process, the execution, all the other threads will wait until that is completed. Such a process is called synchronization.
Okay, so it depends on object or class reference. Okay, so in order to implement the synchronization in Java, we use a synchronized keyword. That keyword can should be added to the method to make the method as synchronized. When when synchronized keyword is added to a method, like here, withdraw method, we have added the synchronized keyword. When we add this one, then if one thread is performing withdraw method on some account, then any other thread cannot execute any other synchronized method on the same account. If it is a different account, it will execute. If it is the same account, it will not execute. So in this synchronization, what can happen is even the multiple transactions or multiple things are performed at the same time, but when one execution is happening, all of the execution has to wait so that your output will be accurate. So it should be synchronized keyword can be used in all financial transactions. Yeah. So after that, we looked at the object lock. So can someone tell me what is an object lock? What is an object lock? Whatever you remember, you tell me.
So when we use the synchronization keyword, means the particular object will be locked. So no, when we call other threads, it won't come. It will be waiting state.
Yeah. So let me ask you the question. So on this object lock, some people directly ask you what is the definition of an object lock, what is the definition of a class lock, or some people will ask you the questions like this. So there are there are two threads T1, T2. There are two methods M1, M2, and there is an object called A. There is a class called capital A. For that capital A, the object is small a. T1 thread is executing M1 method on small a object. Can T2 thread execute M2 method on the same small a object?
No.
No. Why no? So did I talk about M1, M2 or synchronized methods? No. If I make non-synchronized methods, it will execute. Now, same example I'm talking. M1 is a synchronized method, M2 is a synchronized method. T1 is executing M1 synchronized method on A object. At the same time, can T2 execute M2 synchronized method or M3 synchronized or any other synchronized method on the same object?
No,
It will lock.
Because
because of
T1,
lock.
T1 has acquired the lock on A object
A
when
object.
it is executing the M1 synchronized method. Now, let me rephrase the same example in a different manner. T1 thread is accessing M1 method. Let me draw here on today's one. T1 thread is accessing M1 synchronized method on A object. It will acquire the lock. Okay. Can T2 thread execute M2 non-synchronized method on the same object? Guys,
Yes. Yes.
because it is a non-synchronized method.
Non-synchronized method.
Yeah. If it is a synchronized,
No.
because T1 has acquired the lock on A. Now T1 is working on M1 synchronized method A object, and T2 is working on, so both A and B are objects of a class called capital A. Now T1 is working on M1 synchronized method on A object. Can T2 work on M2 synchronized method on B object?
Yes.
Yes. So because
It's another
here
object.
also, yeah, here also lock will happen, but the lock is on small a. Here also lock will happen, but the lock is on B. So it's a different object. For a same class, you are having a different object and the threads are using the different objects. Now, how can I pass the different objects? If you look at our main class, so wherever we are calling the main class, in the main class, so to this thread class constructor, I am passing an object now. Here, if you look at here, Karthik account, Shankar account. So both are objects of a HDFC bank class. But can I say these are the two different objects? Yes, hash code, everything will be different. So by passing this one, I'm differentiating which thread is working on which object. Okay. So,
Yes.
so some people might be asking the question like this, like a T1, T2. Now you should be, when they are asking the question, some people will directly say T1 is working on M1, T2 is working on M2. T1 is working on M1 on A object. Can T2 work on M2 on A object? Now, immediately you need to ask a question saying that if M1, M2 are non-synchronized methods, then they can work. Okay. Now, if M1, M2 are synchronized methods, then one will acquire the lock and one has to wait. Then he will say, I will remove the synchronized for M2. Will it work? Yes, it will work. Now, next question he will ask you, T2 is working on, T1 is on A, T2 is on B. Will it work? Yes. So now whenever the object lock is happening, what M1, M2 methods are? Is this a static method, instance method? What kind of a methods in the object lock?
Instance method.
Instance method. So using the object lock, what kind of a data we are making a thread safe?
Instance data.
Instance data. Instance data. So when I'm saving that thread safe, what is a thread safe? Thread safe is nothing but, so whenever you are using not using the synchronized keyword, multiple threads can on the same object can perform multiple methods at a time. So whenever you are using that, so the output may not be accurate. That the values of the variables might change internally. So that is not a thread safe. So by using a synchronized keyword, you are providing some way. When multiple transactions are happening on the same object, what you're doing, you wait. When one transaction is happening, you are telling all other transactions has to wait. So that is nothing but a thread safe. So in object lock, instance data will be thread safe. Why instance data? Because my M1, M2 methods are instance methods. So yesterday I have shared the notes in the group, and I have shared the notes as well as in the portal as well. Did anyone get a chance to look at it? I know it is late night and early morning. So let me show you guys that one. So I have not completed it, but whatever I have done so far, I'm formatting. Okay. Now it is very so look at I have shared the notes in terms of question and answer so that you will be easily remember. See, what is a thread? Independent path of execution. I have given the example. Creating a thread using runnable interface I have given. Why to override run method? What are different thread states? Thread flow of execution. What is the difference between start and run? How to set a name to a thread? Say how to know which thread is executing, what is synchronization, what is object lock. Look at here. It is a mechanism when we want to synchronize the non-static method or non-static code block. In object lock, if one thread acquires a lock on an object, then any other thread cannot access any other synchronized method on the same object, but they can access non-synchronized method. This is what I am telling now. Okay. Now, whatever words I'm speaking, the same words I have kept it in the notes. I request you guys to please go through the notes so that you can understand further. Okay. So now we have seen the object log. Now let us see the class log. Now what, so let us create the same program. Let us copy the same, all these classes. Okay, I'm copying these classes and then creating a new package. com dot ashok it dot threads dot class log. In this class log, I'm pasting this code. So all these files. Now, so in the ATM thread, from the main method, I have passed the object because I want you guys to show the object log. Now, first of all, let me go to the main HDFC bank, and I don't want to keep this method as a static instance. Now let's make this as a static. Okay. Now let's make this method as a static. Okay. Static method can access static variables. Now let's make this as a static. How the static variable can get the data? You can pass through the object, or you can pass through static block, correct? Static, or else directly instead of putting, what I will do, I will initialize the variable to some value. Okay. So since it is a static, I don't need to use this keyword. Okay. Now let me close all the editors because same class is open multiple times. Okay. Now, so what is the change I have made? I don't want the withdraw method and deposit methods as an instance method. I want this method as a static method. So I made the static method. Now, in order to access the static method in the threads, do you need an object?
No.
No, we don't need an object. We can access the static method with a class name, with a reference variable, or with an object. There are three ways. You can access through an object, through the reference variable, or through the class name. Let me use directly the class name. Okay. Now, so since I don't want the object, do I need to create a constructor which takes an object? Not needed, right? So we have created a ATM thread, phone pay thread or Google Pay thread, which takes an object because in the object log, I need an object. So since I do not need an object, so I'm removing that. And let's go to the net banking. So net banking thread, do I need an object? Again, no. Okay, done. Now let me go to the yeah. So now let's look at here in the main class. I have come to the main class. Now, do I need an object to be created? Not required. I'm removing. Now, am I passing the object? Not required. Am I passing the object? Not required. Now let us debug this code and see what is happening. Okay, let's go to this class. I don't need this. Remove this. Yeah. Now let's go to the main class. So ATM thread, Google Pay thread. Okay, now let us debug the code. Let me keep the breakpoints. Hope you guys understood what are the changes I have done. Does anyone has any questions on what changes I have made? Okay.
Yes, Karthik.
Now let us debug. Two threads are created. See, start method will create an independent path of execution. Yes, it is executing. Again, Google Pay. Yes. Now I can say that both the threads are running. Okay. Now earlier what we have done, we have used an object. So in the earlier, if I am T1 thread is accessing a object, like T1 ATM thread is working on Karthik account, it has acquired the lock on Karthik account. T2 thread is working on a Shankar account, then it has acquired the Shankar account, object lock on different object. But now there is no object. So now all my methods are synchronized, static methods. Now let us see how the lock will acquire, how the accessing will happen. Now there is no object. Now I'm using a class reference. So ATM thread is executing withdraw. Now let's go into the withdraw method. See, do you guys see? ATM thread started executing the withdraw method.
Yes.
So now, do you see the own symbol lock? And do you see
Yes.
what kind of a, see earlier, HDFC Bank is shown. Now let us debug the same, the program, this program. You can, I wanted to show you guys the difference. I'm debugging both the programs, guys, at a time. Let us see when if I can do it. Yeah. So I'm debugging the another program of my object lock. Yeah. So object lock I'm trying to debug. See, ATM thread started, Google Pay thread started. Now when ATM thread is executing bank account withdraw method, it will go inside it. See. So now, so can I say whatever this one owns lock, this, can I say this is an object lock because withdraw method is instance method?
Yes.
Now, hope you can see here, lock symbol owns HDFC Bank. That means it is giving you the class name. When I say class name, but it is using the reference internally, correct?
Yes.
Yesterday I have shown, when you say this keyword, it will give you what is the current object, right? Now, now let's come back to the class lock. Now, do you see the difference? Lock, class followed by T, correct? So this is a class lock and this is an object lock. When there is an object lock, you can see the class name. And when there is a class lock, in the debug section, you can see owns lock, class followed by T. That means on top, on this class, it has acquired the lock, correct? Now, when it has acquired the lock, now what other thread is doing? Google Pay thread? It wanted to execute other synchronized method on the same class, correct? But can it
Yes.
execute? No, because already there is a lock. Now let's do F6. See, it went into the stepping mode. Now you can see the difference here. You can see owns lock class in brackets T, but here you can see owns lock HDFC Bank. That means in object lock, since you are using an object, the class name is displayed. It does not mean that it's a class name. It internally stores the object of a reference. Now here, since it is a class lock, you can see the class name. So that's the difference you can identify. Now let me complete the withdraw method. If I do F6 again, the withdraw method execution will be completed. And then look at here, Google Pay started executing and it has acquired the lock. So in class lock, what will happen is on one reference of a class, like whenever you're using a class name or reference variable, when one synchronized static method is executing, all other synchronized static methods will go on wait mode. If I remove the synchronized keyword, can I say it will execute now? Now let us look at profile update. Let's click F8. Now let me go to the Google Pay thread. Instead of deposit, I want to make it as a profile update. Now profile update, go to HDFC Bank. Let's make it as a static method. Okay. Now, what is the difference between a deposit method and then profile update method?
So deposit method is a synchronized method and profile update is a not synchronized method.
Yeah.
But
So
both
what
are
I'm
static
trying to,
methods.
yeah, both are static, but I'm
Not-
trying to see when the lock is happening, what will happen for a non-synchronized method? Can they execute or not? As per the concept, it can execute, right? Because in order to execute non-synchronized method, you don't need a lock. Sorry, I'm debugging the wrong one. Let me close all these files. Let's go back. Let me execute. Yeah, profile update. Let's keep a debugger. Debugger Java application. So I can see I'm debugging. See, 2 threads started. Yes. ATM thread is executing withdraw method, which is a synchronized. See, it has acquired the lock. Now Google Pay thread wanted to execute profile update. Is the profile update method synchronized? No, it's a static method, but it's not synchronized. So, so when synchronized methods are present, then the lock comes into the picture. Now, see, can I say since it is not synchronized, non-synchronized methods can execute parallelly? Yes.
Yes.
So if I make this profile update also synchronized method, then can it execute? No,
No.
it has to wait for the withdraw method. So ATM thread has to release the lock on this class reference. Then the HDFC, like Google Pay thread will come back to the execution. I hope you guys understand what is the difference between an object lock and class lock.
Yes.
Sir, if it is
Both,
not executed, we'll get suspended like that, no, sir?
Yeah, so that is for
window.
so that is for your understanding purpose. So if it is a lock, then it will go into the stepping mode. Stepping mode means you can understand it as it went into the wait mode. Okay. Now if it is a executing, it will go like that line is suspended, it went into the next line. That is what.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
The synchronized, if you use the synchronization object level or class level, it is in the same behavior only, right?
No, it is not. How can you say same behavior? So if it is an object, I'm see in the object lock. So just now, so here, whenever I'm using this example, I'm passing here Karthik account and passing here Shankar account. Can I say 2 threads are executing 2 different objects?
Yes.
Right? Yes, but can they execute parallelly? There is no wait here, right?
Yes.
But if it is a object class reference, if these are the static methods, can they wait? So look at here. So if it is a class static method, when ATM thread is executing, Google Pay went into the wait mode. Is it Ganesh?
Yes, yes, sir.
So when ATM thread is executing withdraw method, does the Google Pay thread has went into the wait mode in the static synchronized methods? Just now we have seen.
Yes.
Yes, but look at here. So now, but what I'm debugging now, I'm debugging the object lock, and to these threads, what I'm passing different object. Correct?
Yes.
Can I say these two are different objects? Now let's look at here. Can they execute parallelly or not? So it is executing withdraw method. Can I say it has acquired the object lock? Yes.
Yes.
Now Google Pay is also wanted to execute some other method. See, does it acquire? Is it first of all, are you able to parallelly execute both?
Yes, I'm able to execute.
But in the if it is a class lock, can you do this on the same class reference?
No, no.
No, right? Now, hope you've seen the difference.
Yes.
Yeah. So in the class lock, you don't see in the class lock. Generally, we use a class lock to make the static method as a thread safe. For example, you have some static methods, and you wanted to say that one thread will execute, then all other threads has to go on wait mode. Then you can say that static method you have to make it as a synchronized. When you are trying to access the static methods, you don't need an object. Okay, you can call the static method with a reference. When one method is executing on that class reference, then all other synchronized method using all other threads have to wait. If so, there is no other way. But here you can see for one class, I have created 2 objects. First one is executing a Karthik account. It has acquired the lock on Karthik account. Can the second one is also executing parallelly? Yes, because it's a different object. Hope your question is cleared, Ganesh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is what you need to remember every time. Instance method, then what you should be cautious, what object you are sending here, correct? Whenever I say main class here, am I differentiating that I am sending the different? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, that is what.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so this is about an object lock and class lock. It is very, very important, guys. So I have mentioned that in the notes. I request you to please go through the notes. I have written the notes in very plain English, and it is not copied somewhere. I have like typed everything. Okay, so please go through it. Now, what I will do is in the net banking thread. So in the HDFC Bank, we have this method, right? Now, can I add the sleep method? Now, first of all, now we are trying to understand what is the difference between sleep and wait. Okay. Now, where is the sleep method present? Now, let us go. So now let us go to ATM thread and go to thread class. Control O. Sorry, I have come to the. So now Control O, sleep. Do you see sleep method? So
Yes.
sleep method is present in the thread class, correct? Sleep method present in the thread class. The first thing is sleep method is present in a thread class. Now, what is this method?
Static native method
So static method means how can I access?
by class name.
Yes. Now thread dot sleep. I have to mention the milliseconds. I want to say that, let me keep this one. Okay. Now, since it is throwing the interrupted exception, I need to add the throws and cap. Okay, done. Now, same thing, I will use it here. Mohan, there is a background noise from your end. I have just muted you. So now I don't want to pass the two accounts. I want to pass the same account. Okay. Now, let us debug this code. I just made one change that in the threads, wherever we are writing this withdraw method, deposit method. So I just modified. Yeah, I just modified I just added one method called thread.sleep. So why this sleep method is there? See, whenever you are doing some transaction, so there are some other resources are not responding or not waiting. So then you need to make the thread to sleep. Now, how can I call that sleep method? It's a static method using the class name. Thread is the class name and then sleep is the method name. Now let us see what will happen whenever you use the thread.sleep method. Now, so here I am passing the same object case. For ATM thread, I am passing the Karthik account. For Google Pay also, I am passing the Karthik account. Okay. Now let us look at debug as Java application. Now, whenever you are studying in core Java, do you guys know, I have read one line saying that sleep method does not release the lock. Have you guys heard that? How and when, what, I will explain all of those. But did you hear this one sleep method does not release the lock? Yes or no? Anyone?
Yes, Karthik.
Okay. So you may not know what is the meaning of this line. I will explain that, but there is one statement saying that whenever you go for a difference between a wait method and sleep method, there is one statement saying that sleep method does not release the lock. Now we are going to see what does it mean. Okay. Now, so let us quickly debug. So this I am passing the object. So now ATM thread, Google Pay thread. Now see ATM thread starting. Okay, let me. I forgot to keep the try catch. Okay. Let me debug again. Please start. Okay. When ATM thread is executing start method, it went into Sorry, I have forgotten to keep the, okay, before line. Let me stop and debug again. The only change I made is I have added the thread.sleep method in both withdraw and deposit methods. Now, say ATM thread is started, wanted to execute bank account dot withdraw. Now it will go. See, so now ATM thread has acquired the lock on Karthik account. Now Google Pay thread is also working on a Karthik account. If I do F6 now, will does this object, does this thread will execute deposit method or it will go on wait mode?
Wait mode.
Wait mode, because both are working on a same object, right? Now let's see. See, it is waiting, correct? Are you guys agree till now?
Yes,
Google
sir.
Pay thread is waiting for the ATM thread to complete the transaction because ATM thread and Google Pay thread are working on same object. Agree?
Yes, Karthik.
Agree.
Yeah. So now let's go here. Now what am I doing? So I'm making the thread to sleep. Okay. Whenever you are calling the thread.sleep, whatever you have mentioned here, this is nothing but a time. So thread method will take some, if you go for the parent class, what is the thread method? It is taking a milliseconds, or there is overloaded method, nanoseconds, right? So sorry, millis and then nanos. You can mention both. So I have anything you can use, either the sleep method which takes 2 arguments or sleep method which takes 1 argument. So what is the meaning of the sleep is it will make the thread to sleep for some time. Okay. Now, what is the number I have mentioned here in this HDFC? What
1
is the
lakh.
number I have mentioned?
1 lakh.
1 lakh. 1 lakh milliseconds. Shall I convert into seconds? Correct. Now let's
Yes.
do Google convert milliseconds to second. Yeah, let's hear 1 lakh. Say 1 lakh milliseconds means 100 seconds, correct? 100 seconds means almost 1 minute 30 seconds, correct? Or 40 seconds. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now so that means for 1 minute, this thread will go into the sleep mode. Whenever it is sleeping, so now the question is when this thread is going into the sleep mode. So now some people will think, sir, since this is going to sleep mode, why can't the Google Pay thread come back to the execution and complete the deposit method, correct? Do you think that or not? For example,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
so but the thing is, sleep method will not see when the Google Pay will come back to the execution, when the ATM thread will release the lock on the Karthik account, correct?
Yes.
But
Yes.
now I will do the F6. If it release the lock, then what will happen? Assume that there are 2 scenarios. Now, if I do F6 from line number 13, if I do F6, so we do not know whether it will release the lock or not, correct? If releases the lock, what should happen? If it
Google
release the lock, yeah.
Google
Go
Pay
ahead.
has to acquire the lock.
That means immediately the Google Pay will start executing it. The
Yes.
execution will come back to the line number 18. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
for example, if it is not releasing the lock, what will happen?
Until it will.
It's waiting state.
That means Google Pay still wait, but it has to wait for whatever the time I have mentioned. Till that time, that means 1 minute 40 seconds, this thread will sleep, ATM thread. And then after it, if it is not releasing the lock for that 1 minute 40 seconds, Google Pay thread will not execute. It will be same as waiting. After completion of 1 minute 40 seconds, and if the processor is free, then can I say the ATM thread will come back to the execution of line number 14?
Yes.
So in the second scenario, what I meant by that, it is not releasing the lock, correct?
Yes.
If it is releasing the lock, what should happen? Google Pay thread
Google
start
Pay thread.
executing this one. Now let us see what will happen. Now I am doing F6. See, do you guys see the thread ATM thread also went into the stepping mode, correct? But the Google Pay thread has come back to the execution of deposit method. No, correct?
No.
So, but still look at here, the 1 minute 40 seconds is happening. So what does the meaning here? Sleep method will not release the lock, correct? Now, if it is have released the lock, then the Google Pay thread should have come back to the execution. Now, what is happening is sleep method is sleeping for whatever the time that you have mentioned. For example, if I keep 10 seconds here, do you see the difference? 10 milliseconds means it is almost, by the time I tell, it will be completed, right? So why did I give 1 lakh milliseconds? We need to observe what is happening, correct? Hope you guys understand me.
Yes.
So even if I keep 1000 milliseconds, even if I keep 10,000 milliseconds, immediately it will come back to the execution. But since I have given 1 lakh milliseconds, it is sleeping. 1 lakh milliseconds is nothing but 1 minute 40 seconds. Just now we have calculated, right? So it is sleeping for that time. Let's wait for 1 minute 40 seconds and see what will happen after that. So when the thread is sleeping using a sleep method, what it is doing, does it release the lock?
It's not releasing.
No.
So the lock will not be released, correct? Yeah. Now let us wait. Then let's see. Yeah, look at here. 1 minute 40 seconds is completed, and then my scheduler is also free. Then which thread has come back to the execution?
8 AM thread.
So it is started executing line number 14, correct?
Yes.
Now can I say sleep method will not release the lock means? Hope you guys understand what is meant by sleep method does not release the lock now.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So now when it comes to the differences of a wait method and sleep method, where is the sleep method is present?
Thread class.
Yeah. Where is the wait methods are present? In the object class, correct? Now I will tell you why the wait, notify all present in object class little later. But let us see. See in object class, see, do you see wait method? Right? The first difference is sleep method is a static method and it's present in the thread class. The wait method is an instance method and present in an object class. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Now let's come back. Sleep method accepts milliseconds. Okay. The thread will sleep for the specified time. And after the start of the execution, if the system resources are not busy. So whenever you are calling the sleep method, I can guarantee say that whatever the time that you have mentioned, the thread will sleep for that time. That is the minimum time that the thread will sleep. Yes or no? It is
Yes.
like
Yes.
when we give anesthesia to a person. So for example, if there is an operation that is happening, before the operation, anesthesia will be given to the person. And based on the anesthesia quantity, the anesthesia doctor can guarantee that this person will sleep or will not have the, what you call, whatever the pain or something, he will not feel the pain for at least 1 or 2 hours, correct? Based on the amount of anesthesia is given. So after 1 or 2 hours, he come back to the execution. So some people will come immediately, some people will take 4 hours also. Am I right?
Yes.
So it depends on the person, right? And his body behavior. Similarly, I'm not saying sleep is anesthesia, just for example, I have took it. So whenever the sleep method is called, sleep method take time. So whatever the time you have mentioned, these are the milliseconds. So we can say that the thread will sleep for the time that you have mentioned here. For sure, the thread will sleep for this time. But when it come back to the execution, will it come back immediately after this time is completed? Again, it depends, right? Because any thread, so whenever it is sleeping, where it will go? It will go to runnable pool, correct? So whenever the thread is sleeping, it will go to the runnable pool. After the time is completed, then it will say, hey, scheduler, I want to execute. Now, scheduler will check whether it is busy or is there any other threads are executing. Based on that, it will prioritize. Okay, so that is what the second difference. What the second difference is telling, sleep accepts millisecond, the thread will sleep for the specified time. And after that starts the execution if the system resources are not busy. Okay, thread will be waiting status until the notify all is called. So wait method will not come back to the execution. I will show you the same example with wait. Just wait for some time. Now, sleep method does not release the lock. Now, hope you have seen this one, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Sleep method can be used with or without synchronized keyword. Thread we use to pause the thread execution for some time. So now let us modify the code using a wait method. So before modifying using a wait method, does anyone has any questions over?
Sir, if we give sleep method, during that time, no other thread will start the execution, sir.
On the same object. On the same object. Yes. So if you, that is what I have shown. Here, see, for example, first of all, if it's a different object, why do you need, correct? Why do you need to wait? Yes or no? For
Correct.
example, always remember, you are withdrawing from your account. I am depositing the amount into my account. Do we need to wait each other?
No, sir. No.
So then, if both the threads are, if two threads are working on two different objects, do they wait to need to each other?
No, no.
When the wait comes into the picture, when both the threads are working on same object, correct?
Same object.
Now here, if you look at here, ATM thread, Google Pay thread, are they working on same object?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So then when thread is, whenever I'm using a sleep method, it is not releasing the log, correct?
Yes.
If, for example, from the main class, if I'm passing some different account, can I visualize this example? It is not making sense, right?
Right.
If it's a different object, obviously with whether you use sleep method, whether you use wait method, it will not wait, because this thread will acquire the object lock on this object. This thread will acquire the object lock on this account, correct? Like different object, right?
Correct.
Understood?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone? On the sleep, so the very important thing is sleep method will not release the log. In order to tell you that, I have written this one. Whenever, in order to show you that, just now you guys have already told me, if it is releasing the lock, then Google Pay thread should come back to the execution, because there is lock is released, but it is not coming back to the execution, means lock is not released. Any questions?
Yeah, one question, sir. Sleep method, why we need synchronous block for sleep method?
No, we don't need. That is what. Sleep can be used with or within synchronized block. Wait method can be used in synchronized block. I'll come to that later. I haven't explained this one, right?
Yeah.
So sleep you can use with or without. That is what. Look, if you look at this carefully, sleep can be used with or without synchronized block. Okay, but wait can be used only within the synchronized block. If used in non-synchronized block, then it shows illegal monitor state exception. Why this exception will come, I will explain.
Okay.
I'm just asking any questions on sleep method. This is very important from the interview perspective. Shall we move on to the wait?
Yes, Scott.
Yeah. Now let us stop this example. Now, if I want to do the wait, can I say instead of sleep, I should write the wait method? Okay. Now, shall I write thread dot wait?
No.
Why?
No, because of
Wait method is present in object class.
Yeah, wait method
an
is not
instance
present in the thread class. Wait method is present in the object class, correct? Now, in order to class, can I say this dot wait on the current object will wait, correct? Yes or no?
Yes, yes, sir.
Now,
Yes.
so I did not mention any time, guys. Okay. So you can see wait, you have a milliseconds wait without an argument also. So whether you are using this one, no problem. Okay. Now let me tell you. Now let us execute this program. Okay, let me modify this program furthermore, so that we will complete the other notify also. Now, whenever you want to withdraw, for example, my main balance is, what is Karthik account is having 7,000. Now, using ATM thread, I want to withdraw 10,000. Is it possible? When my account balance is 7,000, can I withdraw 10,000?
No.
So then what I have to wait? I have to call my friend or someone to
deposit.
yes. Then once the deposit happened, can I withdraw?
Yes.
Now, shall I modify the code now?
Yes.
Yeah. So now here, what I have to do, if account balance is less than withdrawal amount, what is the meaning of this scenario?
So account balance is 7,000 and we are withdraw amount is 10,000.
Is it possible in real life?
No.
Then what I have to do, I have to wait for someone to
Deposit.
deposit, correct? Once they deposited, that means, can I say, now let us quickly understand this. Now what I'm doing to the withdraw method, I'm waiting. Now wait method will release the lock. And then immediately whoever is depositing, other thread can deposit the money. Okay. Now let us see that. Let's go to the, so both the threads are happening on the same account. Look at here, guys. ATM thread, Google Pay. So whenever you want to see the differences of these threads, right, you have to use the same account. Let me keep the debugger here. Yeah. Debug as Java application. See, both the threads are started. Now, look at here, ATM thread is executing. Sorry, what is the withdrawal amount? 4,000, 7,000. Let me modify the withdrawal amount, guys. Okay, now, do you guys know how to modify the data in the Eclipse? Anyone? So what you can do here, in the variable section, do you see withdrawal amount is coming as 4,000?
Yes.
So generally, whenever you're debugging in your project, if you have given some wrong value, if you want to debug with the correct value, then can I say you have to stop this and then go to the UI and modify the value and come back? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
But you don't need to do that. You just need to change it. Again, why do you waste the time, correct? So here withdrawal amount is there, right? Now I can modify this value and click here. Let me modify 10,000. Let me write here. See, did I modify? Yes. Now look at here. What is the amount?
10,000.
So
10,000.
why did I do this one? I don't see. If I have to do, then what I need to do? I have to go to my starting place and modify the value. I can, that is one way. But can I say that that is a waste of time sometimes? Correct? Whenever you're debugging. So in your projects also, whenever you are debugging, when you check, see, whenever you're writing a condition like this, greater than, less than, can I say you need to check equal condition, less than condition, greater than condition? Agree? So in order to do this one checks, you 3 times you need to debug, correct? But whenever I'm in the method, by modifying the value in one, like only once I can do that, right? Hope you guys understand.
Yes, sir.
This is nothing related to this example, guys. I just told how to modify the value in Eclipse when you're debugging. Okay. Now, my withdrawal amount is 10,000. My account balance is 10,000, 7,000. Can I withdraw?
No, sir.
No.
No.
No. So look at here. Now my ATM thread is executing withdraw method. It has acquired the lock. Now let's go back to the Google Pay thread and try to execute deposit method. Is it possible? No, because both are working on same object. ATM thread has acquired the lock, correct? Now, what I am doing in this scenario, what I am calling the wait method, correct? Now again, the same thing. How much time the wait method will sleep? I haven't mentioned any time. No one knows. Okay. Now, does the wait method release the lock? Yes. Let us see. If the wait method is releasing the lock, then what happens?
Deposit method will execute.
The Google Pay thread will come back to the execution automatically, correct? Now, shall we look at that? Now, look, let's do the F6. See, is the Google Pay thread started executing? Yes or no?
Yes.
So that means, can I say that wait method will release the lock? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is the account balance currently? 7,000. And how much you are depositing? 5,000. Can I say my total balance after doing this one? What is my total balance? 12,000. Now, Earlier, which thread went into the wait mode?
Phone, ATM.
ATM thread, correct? Now, when see here in the sleep method, whatever the time you are mentioning, after that time, if the system resources are free, then it is come back to the execution. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
But now here is that the scenario. Since it has released the lock, how it will come back to the execution, correct?
Yes.
Hope you understand my question, guys.
Yes,
So
sir.
whenever we are
Understood.
using a sleep method, we are mentioning some time. After that time is done, and if the system resources are free, it will come back to the execution and it will not release the lock. But wait, what is happening for wait method? Whenever you are using a wait method is releasing the lock so that other methods can execute. Here in this scenario, withdraw method, my account balance is less than the withdraw amount. Then I cannot withdraw, correct? Now what happened? This ATM thread went into the waiting mode. Waiting mode means it has released the lock. Then immediately my deposit method executed, correct? Now, once the deposit thread is executing, what it has done? It has made my account balance to the 12,000, correct? Now, yeah, now I have the balance. No, but I want this thread to come back so that then only I can really withdraw the money. Am I right?
Yes.
So now, do you understand the problem here? This thread is went into the wait mode, but when it will come back, no one knows. How it will come back, no one knows. Correct? Now I need to do something to bring back this thread to the execution. Am I right? Yes or no?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Now you guys tell me my account balance is 7,000. If I deposit 2,000, can I bring back to the execution?
No. No.
Because I am withdrawing 10,000, correct? Now my account balance is 7,000. I am trying to deposit 4,000. 7 plus 4, 11.
11.
Correct? Now, can I bring back to the execution now?
Yes.
Now, can I say after deposit, whenever you're depositing, you have to tell the previous thread which is waiting, which went into the wait mode to come back to the execution, correct?
Yes.
So that means when the Google Pay, which thread has done the deposit?
ATM thread.
Google Pay thread did the deposit just now, right? Now ATM thread is doing the withdrawal, correct? So do you guys see two threads are there here? ATM thread is trying to withdraw and went to wait mode, correct? Now, whenever it went to the wait mode, it has released the lock. Okay. And Google Pay thread started executing since there is no lock. And it has performed deposit. Am I right? Is this happened? Is this happened or not?
Yes, sir.
Now, once the deposit thread is completed, now can I say this thread has to tell the ATM thread, hey, I have deposited the money, come back to the execution, correct?
Right.
Now that means what am I telling here? One thread is talking to other thread. Am I right?
Yes.
So this is called inter-thread communication. Now you have to through the Google Pay thread. That means whenever not, it can be a Google Pay thread or it can be ATM, whatever it is thread, whichever the thread that is doing the deposit. Can I say after doing the deposit, I have to continue with my withdraw transaction? Yes. So in order to do that, you guys have to call the notify method or notify all method. Okay. So now, for example, let me do notify all. Now, whenever I call the notify all, what will happen is whichever the thread that went back to the wait mode in the sleep, after the time, if the system resources are free, it will come back to the execution. But that is not the case in terms of wait method. So wait method will go indefinitely until someone calls the notify. Here, why we need to call notify? Because you have deposited the money. Now, it is good to execute the withdraw method, right? Now, how can you tell? So whichever the thread that is depositing, that has to tell whichever the thread that went to the wait mode, one thread has to talk to the other thread to come back to the execution. So this is called inter-thread communication. Don't worry, I will explain this later. For today class, you just need to understand wait method will release the lock. Do you guys understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when it has released the lock, other thread will execute, correct? And then see, it will go in. So whichever the thread that you are using a wait method, that will go to the wait mode and it will release the lock. Done. Other thread will start executing other synchronized method. That is also done. But now my question is, when this waiting thread will come back to the execution? That's the question. Now, whenever you call the notify all method, then only it will come back to the execution. I will explain that cleanly again in tomorrow class. Like why we need to call the notify and why wait method notify, all this can be used in the synchronized block. With this explanation, we will also get to know why wait method, notify all our method are present in a object class, why not in thread class. So these are the topics that we are going to see tomorrow. But for today's, we have discussed about a class lock and we have discussed about the sleep method and wait method differences. Sleep method will not release the lock, wait method will release the lock. And these two parts will be looking in the tomorrow class because we are on top of time. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
See, we have called wait method in the withdraw method.
Yes.
Say suppose we are waiting for the amount to deposit in the account.
Yes.
So if it is not happened, then it is completely went into lock, right?
Yes, it will release the lock. It will go for where completely wait mode only.
Yeah, because we don't specify any time
Yes.
bound or something.
Even if you specify the time, it does not guarantee that after the time it will come back to the execution. Correct? See here, just remember. So, for example, you are first time whenever you are going out of your home, then what do you remember? When you are a child, you are first time you are walking out of your home. Then can I say you will remember some points in your area? First, take the right left on the chicken center. Next, go to the right side on the vines. Some points you remember in your brain, correct? So that whenever you come back, you will remember the same points and then you will come back to the home. Am I right?
Yes.
Similarly, when you say sleep mode, sleep is mentioning the time, but is it releasing the lock? Sleep method is not releasing the lock, correct? Yes. When it is not releasing the lock, can I say it knows where it has to come back, correct?
Yes.
No, but when I say wait method, it doesn't matter how much time it is waiting, but is it releasing the lock? Whenever it is releasing the lock, wait method is releasing the lock, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So whenever it is releasing the lock, does it know where it has to come back? It has released the lock, correct? It does not know. Someone has to tell, this come back to the execution, correct? So what is that someone? Other thread has to call the notify method or notify all method. Okay. Now, even if you call the wait method with some number like 10,000 milliseconds and see, wait for that 1 minute 40 seconds. So earlier sleep method with 1 lakh milliseconds. After 1 minute 40 seconds, it has come back to the execution. Tomorrow, what we do? Wait method with 1 lakh milliseconds we will give. And then we'll see after 1 minute 40 seconds, will it come back to the execution? Okay. Now, if it is not coming back to the execution, can I say that it is not behaving like a sleep method? Yes. Then when it will come back to the execution, some other thread has to tell notify. So that is nothing but an inter-thread communication. One thread has to talk to other thread. That is called inter-thread communication. So which we are going to see in tomorrow class. The one who asked the question, does it clarified?
Yes.
Yeah. Any other questions quickly?
Just like that, can you give us an example like a string and string buffer? What is the difference in a practical way, sir, in a programmatic way?
Okay, sure. So what you can do?
Wise, anyway, we understood that thread safety, but in a practical manner.
So what you can do is, I think in the demo class, you are the one who asked about array list vector, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what you can do here, vector is synchronized, correct? Now what you can do instead of HDFC Bank, can I say you can create a vector object?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. And then pass that vector object to the ATM thread. Pass the same object to this thread. In this ATM thread, you perform add method on a vector. In the Google Pay thread, you perform delete option and see whether it will happen or not. because same object, correct?
Yes.
So vector methods are synchronized. Multiple threads cannot work on same time, right?
Yes.
Hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So replace this HDFC bank account with a vector account.
Okay.
Vector object. Okay. Now, whenever you are debugging the ATM thread, go to the like in the ATM thread withdraw method. What you do instead of doing this transaction, vector that add. So
Yes.
while executing that, try to do the execution of this one. So you will get a, I mean, like since it is a lock, it is not possible. Hope you get it.
Okay. And you are saying that in debug mode only we
Yes.
have to, like,
Yes. Because if it's a run mode, how do you visualize?
right.
Yeah. Okay. So if no question, that's all for today, guys. Tomorrow will be interesting. So inter-thread communication we are going to see. Inter-thread communication is nothing but one thread will talk to other thread. Okay. How it is talking? Through notify, notify all, wait. Wait, notify, notify all methods are there to for the threads to talk to each other. How that is happening, I will explain tomorrow. Don't forget to join tomorrow class. And then I request you guys to please go through the notes and then look at the notes. I have clearly mentioned like question answers like with the code as well. Go through the notes and I will update the notes as in when we discuss and then we'll provide you the updated notes. Okay.
Is it
Thank
there
you,
in the
guys.
portal, sir? Notes?
Yeah. It is there in the portal. It is there in the WhatsApp group as well.
Okay.
I have shared it yesterday night, maybe late night, 11:30 something. So you can check it. Let me show you that as well. See.
Yes, Karthik, could you please upload the videos after the
So I am that is
complete the
not the
class?
work, that is not the work done by me. The videos will be uploaded by the admin team. So I think for your message, I have already responded. I have asked Ashok and his team to upload it. Okay.
As early as possible, please
Yes.
upload.
Yes. I understand your concern, but I cannot do anything. I will pass on the feedback to them. Generally, they will upload within 24 hours. Maybe yesterday was Sunday. No one is working, right? Like it's a holiday for everyone. Might be that is a delay. But generally, we don't have the class on Saturday also. But since with these threads, we have to complete within 20 days. So we kept a class on Saturday. Since they are not working, maybe that is a delay. Today it will be uploaded.
Okay. Right.
But however, I can tell them as well.
Yeah. Okay, Karthik.
Yeah.
Karthik, sorry, actually I have one question.
Yeah.
Actually, in synchronized block, it's not releasing the lock, right? So if you put wait method, so it's releasing the lock.
Yes.
Actually, on the same account, Karthik account, we are executing withdraw and deposit both, right? So withdraw is we have wait method, it releases a lock. So deposit on the same account will happen.
So if you're talking about sleep using the sleep method in deposit method, wait method. Oh, yeah, wait method will not release the lock. That's correct. What is your question? I could not understand your question.
Yeah, see, actually, on Karthik account, we have two methods. One is withdraw and one is deposit. So, so as balance is low, so we have call wait method.
Yes.
Yeah, and on the same, actually, Google Pay thread is using same Karthik account, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same object, HDFC Bank.
Yes.
So does it call deposit also?
So that is what. Why did I use the same objects? Because see, whenever I told you the same example with the sleep method, does it release the lock? No.
No, it does not.
I have to manually complete its execution. Then the deposit thread has come back to the execution, correct?
Yes.
Now the same example, I will try with a wait. So when the account balance is less than the withdrawal amount, so here you are saying in this scenario, you will keep the sleep, correct?
Yeah.
So if you keep the sleep also, it will not come back to the execution, correct? So I mean like it will not release the lock. Okay.
Yes.
So it will not release the lock. You have to manually, I mean like that is a wrong scenario, correct? So whenever your balance is less, keep using the sleep method is not the right one. Am I right?
Right one.
Yeah. So in this functional scenario, this is one functionality I'm developing. Okay. In this functional scenario, using the sleep method is not the right choice. Correct? Because it is not really, it will not release the lock. So deposit method will not be able to execute. Correct? Then after this time, it will come back to the execution, and then my balance will go in a negative. Correct? So when I can use this sleep method for overdraft account. Correct?
Yeah.
Do you know what is an overdraft account? Even though you do not have a balance, you can withdraw some money. Correct?
Yeah.
So recently, TSRTC, the Telangana State Road Transport Corporation, has taken an overdraft account in the Union Bank. So they have given the overdraft capacity of 300 crores. So TSRTC, we know that it is in losses, right? So they have taken the overdraft account from Union Bank. So Union Bank is telling that even though you do not have money, you can use 3,300 till 300 crores. So if that is the case scenario, then you can use a sleep method. So in this scenario, so if I have to use this business scenario, what I need to do? Always call the deposit first, correct? And then call the withdraw, correct? That means first I have to make sure that deposit, the Google Pay thread is working on deposit. After completion of Google Pay, then only I need to call ATM thread. Am I right?
Yes.
So in order to do that, you have to use a join method. I will explain that also. So that, with this example, we are going to learn many things. So that's the reason I have taken this example.
Okay, sure.
Is it clarified?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, guys. That has mentioned Kishore. Yeah. So in the Teachable website, March 4th video is uploaded. The one who asked a question, Ram, I think Ram Gopal, right? Are you still there? Okay. So Ram Gopal, the video is uploaded.
Yes, Karth.
It is uploaded in the 4th March, like 4th March, which is on Saturday. The video is uploaded to the website. Just now Kishore confirmed it. Okay, you can watch it now.
Okay, okay.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Kishore. Yeah. So thank you, guys. Tomorrow will be interesting. Don't forget the class. Don't forget to join the class. I know you have videos will be there, but when you have the time, whenever you're learning something interesting, why don't you join the class, right? Just a 1 hour sleep. You can sleep after 7 a.m. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining. Have a nice day.